Coming off a prime time loss to the Denver Broncos, we know what time it is. It's prospect time. The playoffs are on the horizon. You see, I've got a Hall of Fame hat on because your boy was on in Atlanta. So let's start talking about what this team needs the most of. And the Commanders are in a rough spot this next coming year in the Eastern defensive quarterback, if you will. BIB Draft HQ, Episode 2, Linebackers. Let's have a shall I say, a little bit of fun with this one. Burgundy Ballers, welcome back to the Ballin In Burgundy podcast, and welcome back to BIB Draft HQ, a very good place right now early in the season to talk about NFL prospects for your Washington Commanders. It's main event JD John, dialed back at it again, and I said linebackers, plural, because we're going to need a whole host of them, but I could not come and do this thing alone. I had to call in some reinforcements, a fellow J brother like myself, because I do not associate myself with Johnny New, and I am associated with a man of class and talent like this brother from the Sick Podcast Draft Digest. Please welcome my man John himself. Welcome to BIB.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity, and let's dive into some ball.
No, appreciate you coming on, and this is earlier for me recording, so I actually appreciate. It's still dark outside here on the East Coast, but sub 9 o'clock for me, I will take it right now. It's been exhausting. Been exhausted. But guys, hit that subscribe button here on BIB Road to 1,000. We're at 797, so I need a few of y'all to hit 800 and then 200 away from 1,000. Hit that subscribe button here on BIB. More draft coverage, more NFL content, more everything coming this offseason because I got some surprises, especially when we hit 1,000. But let's talk about it. The Commanders need a little bit of linebacker help coming into 2026. Lou is on the last year of his contract. B-Wags is probably going to go straight to the Hall of Fame. Jordan McGee, I'm a big fan of. I've infamously had a reel saying he stealed the draft, but we got to see more from him. Can't find Madrano. You can't find Ale Cajo. So here we are with the linebackers. What is your overall assessment before we go player by player of this 26 linebacker class?
Yeah, I'd say it's a stronger class than it's been in a while. Linebacker is a fickle position right now because so much is put on the linebacker, at the pro level. It's a lot like transitioning into the NFL as a tight end, for example. Tight ends, you kind of see the slow development, people not always coming in and being able to perform at a high level right away. We have those exceptions of Sam Laporta's, the Dalton Kincaids. But for the most part, Brock Bowers, exactly. Yeah. How could you forget about him? But for the most part, you kind of see it takes 2, 3, 4 years for tight ends to kind of get into an offense and find that rhythm. And it's because of the information overload that they get at that position. You're asked to understand the blocking schemes. You have to understand the route concepts. You have to know that playbook almost as well as the quarterback does. And so sometimes you see rookies kind of struggle with that transition to the next level. And that hits their production. So linebackers a lot like that because you mentioned it, they're the quarterbacks of the defense most of the time. A lot of times the heart and soul of your defense is that position, and you're asked to do so much. You have to fill run gaps, you have to be able to blitz, you have to be able to drop into zone coverage, cover tight ends, cover running backs, and that's a very difficult skill set to find of someone who's strong enough to play downhill into those run gaps, but also agile and quick enough, reactive enough to drop into coverage. So every year we kind of have like a guy that most people like, Jack Campbell, goes first round of the Lions. He's developing and blossoming into a star at that position. Overshown a couple years ago to Dallas or last year to Dallas. We'll see if he can come back and play through, at the explosiveness that he did, when he was at Texas in his first year. So far looks a little bit slower, but he's still recovering. And he's playing through that. So you got to give him credit for that. But so for the most part, it's a very difficult skill set to fill. This year we have more contenders than I remember having. And guys that I feel pretty good about dropping into coverage, that can play into the run gaps and have some size to their ability to add to their skill set. So it's a better class than it's been in a while, and I think that that'll reflect in the first round and probably into day 2 as well.
Sorry, my dog was barking. I could have sworn he was barking at me, but he's barking downstairs. But I agree. I've been a bigger fan of this linebacking class than past few. Like I liked Overshone. I said liked McGee. There was a cat last year I won. I can't think of his name. I'm sure I'll bring him up later.
Trevin Wallace.
Ironically, I wasn't the biggest fan of Wallace, but he's doing good things at Carolina, so I'll eat crow on that one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
I'll eat crow. I eat crow a lot on the show for people who actually watch BIB. I eat crow a lot. It's somehow turned into my favorite Southern meal when I go down to Georgia. I don't know what happens. I just be like, oh, there's my dinner tonight. But I'm gonna start with kind of what could very well be a top 3 pick in this draft. I touched him on the edge rusher episode when we kicked this thing off. I'll be touch on him now. It's the Ohio State's Arvell Reese.
Yeah, phenomenal prospect.
I have people from Commanders Country, from Saints Land to Raider Nation saying, I want Arvell Reese. I think he still needs just like a dash of seasoning left, but like he seems incredible.
Yeah, I think a good playoff run for Ohio State will be that bit of seasoning that you want. He's popped up because he's a first-year starter. He's popped up because of his athletic ability. First off, he's a great athlete, excellent tackler, and he kind of fills this hybrid role for the Ohio State defense when they want to go into a bear front, which is 5 men on the line of scrimmage. He becomes that 5th man, that extra edge rusher, and he's a very solid pass rusher on top of just being able to plug, run gas. Brings an excellent hit stick. The pursuit ability that he has is really good. He closes extremely well in space, and he's got that coverage ability as well that we were talking about. So the one thing that I might pause on is just he might not be a top 3 pick. He might not be a top 5 pick. And one of the things about the draft that is, that you have to understand as you get into it is how it affects contracts. So your top NFL, your first round pick, your first overall pick is going to make $12 million next year per year for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
That might fluctuate. That might go up this year. They might hit 13. They were awful close with Cam Ward last year, but your draft selections are slotted, to a certain amount of money. And that slowly works down throughout. By the time you get to that back end of the first round, you're about $8 million a year. And that's your rookie contract. So what you have to look at is, first off, what's the average contract for the linebacker? It's not very high compared to a lot of other positions because of the reason that we just talked about, which is there's not a lot of guys that have that skill set completely. So when you take a guy early in the draft, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a discount on that position. So if you can get a perennial player and you're paying, 30-40% what you would pay him as a, stud starter in the league, that's a win-win. And that's what teams are looking for. That's why you see edge rushers and quarterbacks and offensive tackles and now wide receivers go that high, because your average top paid receiver is, making like $30 million a year right now. Your top quarterback's at 55, so that's when you start getting in, when you look at the numbers and you kind of go, okay, well, your top linebackers are really 20 million at tops.
Yeah.
There's not much of a discount there. So that might push him down the draft a little bit. That might give Washington a really good shot at getting him. That also depends how the draft process plays out. If it's a weak class up top, it really is. His teammate Caleb Downs is arguably the best defender in this class, and he might not sniff the top 10 because he's a safety.
Yeah.
But all that to say, Arvell's a very special player. There's not a lot of weaknesses to his game. it's really hard to kind of pinpoint it. He's got great size. He's got the ability. Like you said, the little bit of seasoning would definitely be nice. Maybe he goes back. I don't know if he can go back. I can't remember.
I don't think so.
He'd be a day one starter.
Yep.
As long as he picks up on the playbook well, we're talking about a perennial Pro Bowl player here. He's got that ability. He's got the flexibility. I'm trying to think like Zach Bond type player, I think is what you're looking at.
That's fair. Because I'm looking at Draft Buzz. They're saying like a Jahad Campbell, a Demetrius Knight. I'm thinking he's probably better than both of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, because Campbell, he's got the size that helps him, right? Yep. Like that's what really makes it, and he's got great instincts too. But the size really helps him. Arvell's got that size. He's not quite as long, I don't think, as Campbell is, but he's got the size that you want.
Yeah, I'd say it's close.
But what Bond kind of did, if you remember, when he came out of Wisconsin, was he was considered an edge rusher. And it wasn't until he got to Philadelphia where they were like, hey, let's move him to the inside. Let's play him at Mike. And that's where he flourished. And so the point is Reese is a better pass rusher than Bond was. But he's got that flexibility. And that's kind of the point that I was trying to go to, is that's the kind of player that you get. Is he's a bone crushing tackler that can play in coverage and has the ability to rush after the passer.
I agree. I know a lot of Commanders fans want him because they're like, oh, Dan took Micah, who was linebacker, who really played edge, can get in the pass coverage. I'm like, yes, but like within a year of Dan, Quinn, and Micah, he was a full-time edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Arvell will be more, like you said, of a Bond, if he does more of a, not quite a Nick Bonito, where like Nick will get 10 sacks, but also will drop back. I'm trying to think of that like perfect blend. Maybe like a Warner, like a Fred Warner-esque, meaning he can do both at a really high level. I'm trying to think of like the perfect comparison. I can't quite get it right.
Yeah, no, he's a special player, and special players typically are unique in their ability, right? Because Warner can't rush the passer like Reese can, but Warner can also drop into coverage like he's a freaking safety. We all saw that interception covering CD Lamb a couple of years ago. He's not quite that special in coverage, but he's good. He's good in coverage.
I agree. I want to. You kind of brought up his teammate Caleb Downs. I want to bring up his other actual teammate on that same side of.
Yeah, next to him, everybody on the defense at this point.
just go over the whole Ohio State defense, all first rounders the next 2 years. No, but his other linebacker buddy in Sonny Styles.
Yeah,
someone who I could see sneak into the first round, maybe because I'm looking at the draft order now. Baltimore, Tampa, Buffalo. He too is not like, he's got bigger than Arvell at 6'5", and can tackle just with him too. If I'm a team and I want a true linebacker, Sonny Styles is probably my man in the first round.
Yeah. So NFS got him. So a little background for everybody. NFS is the National Football Scouting, which is an advanced scout organization that partners with almost 20 teams in the NFL that gives them data. They go out basically during the spring. They measure these guys. They put initial reports out, and the NFL uses them to start their baseline scouting. So a lot of background and stuff usually comes from there. Now, so NFS got him at 6'4.5" and 237 pounds in the spring. So he's long, he's big, he's got that comparison in size to, he probably closely aligns with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell was a true 6'5", but he's right there. It's that kind of skill set. This is another guy he's capable dropping into coverage, but really where he likes to play is downhill. And he's got the speed to pursue to the boundary with incredible intensity. He's a good blitzer. This guy is kind of that hybrid blend between what you want in the linebacker now and the old school downhill Brian Urlacher type run stuffer. He's an exciting guy for those reasons. And yeah, I would say that he's probably, you're looking at late first round, maybe even early second round, just depending how the process goes.
Yeah, reason that I brought up like Baltimore, Buffalo is both those divisions have more AFC East, really good running backs who their defenses like Travion Henderson. We'll see if Brees Hall stays. Devon Achane. I could see him trying to fill those holes really easily.
Yeah, he would stay with some of these running backs out of the backfield. I think if he tries to cover Achane on a wheel route, like good luck. I don't think any linebacker could do that. But he's going to have the ability. No, he's a 2.8 guy, something like that.
Unfair.
You wish you had him. He's like that kind of player. He's one of the, if we had that guy, he would be awesome kind of player. But no, he's going to be more of a zone coverage guy than a man coverage guy. You want to settle him down to the boundary. He's got the athletic ability to drop into the deep cover 2 if he needs to with the Tampa 2. That's the kind of defense I could see him going into, where it's like, hey, we need somebody that's got that flexibility that we're going to play a lot of match coverage. We're going to want you to drop into that Tampa 2 while we play match on the outside. That's what I could see him doing and filling really well.
I like that. I kind of brought up this comparison because I keep hearing it a lot, and I'm like, I'm taking this now. Is depending on the team he goes to, would he be someone's kind of Batman or there's someone's Robin, or do you think he could kind of go back and forth?
I think it would depend. So typically with a guy of his size, you want to go ahead and say he's our Mike, right? He's our guy. Yeah. Now that's the confusing thing too, is a lot of times you have a Mike and you have a Will on the field at the same time. The Sam guy is usually the guy you take off the field when you go nickel. Yep. So what you're kind of looking at is the Sam and the Mike oftentimes have their responsibilities split. That's what a lot of teams have done in the last 5 years to really try to not put as much on the Mike and kind of delegate his responsibility a little bit so that he can play a little freer. Yeah. He's going to be more of your Mike. Now, if he gets around, a veteran guy like you talked about Baltimore, if he goes to Baltimore and, Roquan Smith is there, he's going to be playing, fiddle to Roquan Smith because Roquan's earned that, Yeah. He's not going to know the offense better or that defense better than Roquan. No. So, but, if he goes to a place that, you mentioned Washington, probably going to be a clean house in terms of the linebacker room next year. That's a place where it would be like, hey, he could absolutely come out if he picks up the defense quickly, understands what he's looking at. This is a guy that he's going to be your number one. He's going to be your Mike. You're not going to want to take him out of that spot because of everything that he can do.
Fair enough. I've heard good things about Sonny, and I keep hearing. I'm watching your show. I'm watching other shows. I'm like, do I trade back and go get Sonny Sauce for Washington? Do I just get an extra first round and go get Sonny? I'm tempted to now.
That's the problem, though. Is going to be trading down in this draft. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's going to be so hard.
It was rough last year to trade down.
Well, it's the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks dictate that, right? And we just don't have anybody in this class that I would want to put my name on. We don't. I mean, I said it a couple of weeks ago. I was like, we're just not going to talk about quarterbacks on this show anymore until like February when they become when it's relevant again. There's nobody that you just feel good about.
No. Thankfully, Commanders don't need one. But we kind of touched on our show. Like, all right, who's in the Heisman race? Love and company. That's what it is.
Yeah. And it's from the quarterback standpoint, with the Heisman, nobody has the numbers that you really want. The guy that's kind of got the numbers, nobody wants to give him the Heisman. We were kind of talking about that before we started recording. But like when you typically, when I'm looking at a quarterback prospect, I want a guy that is studied, that, he picks up on what the defense is doing. He's got the ability to make reads, go through progressions. you don't feel comfortable about any of these guys in this class because there's an epidemic in terms of the development of the quarterback right now. And that's across football in general. That's been pushed by this, transfer portal, coaching carousel frenzy. Nobody's got time anymore to sit there and develop the quarterback because you're going to lose them next year to the transfer portal. And then the quarterbacks are going to 2 to 3 systems, which maybe that helps you in the long run, but it doesn't help you with your fundamentals today. Yeah. And so we have a lot of guys that cannot fundamentally play the position well. The Josh Allens. Josh Allen was a guy that fundamentally in college did not play the position well. But that was what he understood his weakness to be. He goes and hires a great quarterback coach. Name blanking. I know it's Jordan Palmer.
There we go.
And because I was not a Josh Allen fan up until April of that draft, and it was
fair.
Watching him go to the Senior Bowl. Oh, his feet look a little bit better. Wow. And you watch him at the combine. Wow, his feet look a lot better. You watch him his pro day. Oh yeah. He's totally cleaned it up. It's a habit now. You can see it.
Right.
And that's where I was like, okay, yeah, I'll buy Josh Allen now. But because when you see a guy take those steps, okay, he's coachable. He wants to get better. He's going to get better. That's another reason why I like Jalen Hurts when he came out. This is a coachable guy. This is a leader. He's going to get better. So end of the day, none of these guys show me that. None of them have shown me anything like that. And the one guy that I kind of like as a processor is Ty Simpson. He hasn't played enough football. He needs to go back and play another year. So that's kind of where we're at with quarterback position. But that's what dictates drafts, moves, and trades up. I don't think there's enough edge rushers to dictate one either. The offensive tackles, absolutely not.
No, there's like 2 good ones right now.
Maybe that, if that, that's debatable too. So not a good class if you're trying to trade down. Like it's going to be more of a just stand in there, take the guy that you think is going to do the best for your team and, grit your teeth.
Yeah. It's like I'm because of we have 6 picks. Like I'm always a proponent of trading back, but again, to your point, it's going to be quarterback dependent unless I see I maybe see 3 wide receivers going in the first round, unless there's a 4th that jumps up between.
A few more. There might be a few more than that.
Yeah,
you might see 3 receivers go in the top 15.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's again because the price for the wide receiver is insane right now.
Yeah,
Jamar Chase, the Bengals reset this market because they had the bright idea of promising Jamar Chase, hey, we're going to make you the highest paid non-quarterback position player in the league.
Yeah.
And waited to pay him until, Myles Garrett's making $42 million a year. So
smart on Jamar, horrible for everyone else.
you got to dug your own grave there, guys. You should have done that deal like 6 months ago. But they drugged their feet with it and they had to pay. So now it's reset the wide receiver market. And when you start looking at those top 15 picks and you realize that this is $10 to $9 million a year contracts with this wide receiver talent, that's where you're going to see a bunch of them start coming off the board. The Carnell Tate, Denzel Washington, Jordan Tyson, Casey Concepcion might slip up in there. I know I'm forgetting one. There you go. There it was.
Yep.
There's so much talent at that the wide receiver class gets me excited. I didn't realize how good it was till I dug into it a little bit, and I was like, oh, this is where the gold is this year.
This is where if you're a team, you take 1, if not 2, if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it keeps going. It's deep. It keeps going.
Yeah,
and then
this receiver class is like last year's running back class. Almost everyone can get in a piece, and you're like, I feel good with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and you'll see a couple running backs go up in there too. I'm assuming Jeremiah Love comes out. I think a lot of people are assuming that he'll go early. Nick Singleton out of Penn State's got a good chance to go early because he's got the size and everything else you want.
Yeah,
and I think Jonah Coleman's got a chance to slide up in there. That guy is a tank. He is so much fun to watch.
I've fallen off Husky football, but every time I hear Jonah Coleman's name, I'm like, all right, let me go watch this highlight real quick. I guess I gotta.
Bowling ball is perfect for him. That's what he is. He's 5'8". He's 222 pounds. I mean, at that size proportions, that's not with the speed and the quickness that he has.
Makes no sense.
He's bowling ball. That's exactly what he is.
I'm letting you know now. I'm taking that now. If I got to go through running backs, I'm taking bowling ball. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, you have to at this point. You know, I mean,
to.
freaking, what's the guy that you got? Corey Krosky Merritt.
Krosky Merritt.
That guy is like a bowling ball, and you see what he can kind of do with his, because he's bigger than his frame should allow him to be, and that's where he's had the run strength to generate some of those big plays.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to get more involved. Speaking of involved, this is a guy I think is going to kind of go that 30s to maybe 40s, depending on the range that people like. I've seen him go higher. I've seen him go lower. It's ironically an SEC contender. It's UGA's CJ Allen.
Yeah.
He's an interesting case.
He's insane. No, the Georgia defense has not been what it's been the last few years. You know, for anybody that doesn't watch college football, if you're a pro watcher pretty much exclusively, this is not the same defense, but this guy's the previous defense linebacker. He's legit. Very much a downhill player though. A little bit more old school in his approach. Now he is capable in coverage. And when I say capable, I'm basically saying that he can do it. He's going to make a play every once in a while, but he's also going to kind of get burned sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's the key with the word capable. It means that I can ask him to do it. I'm not going to ask him to do it as much as I would someone who's can do it, right? But he can make some plays. He's very good downhill. He's got great run instincts. He's got good speed to run to the boundary. His straight line speed's good. He works through trash extremely well. And he is probably the best hitter in this class in terms of point of contact as a tackler. The blitzing ability's there. He's got good instincts to time up his rush to the inside. When you see guys timing it, with their blitz, waiting just that split second for that protection to set and then running through the gap, just love to see it. That's what he does all the time. He's got several sacks in his career to show for it. This guy, but he's much more of an old school linebacker than your traditional guys. He's probably going to be more like a Roquan Smith.
Oh yeah, that's the compare. If he's in the Roquan Smith territory and Roquan's great in the run and can, like you say, is capable of dropping back, a lot of teams, especially with how creative some offensive coordinators get, you need someone who's just going to kill a gap.
Mm-hmm. And we're kind of shifting back into that run type offense. Let's go 2 tight ends. Let's bring a fullback involved as a league in general. And that's just because everybody's linebackers got lighter. So this is a guy that you get to kind of fill that gap and change that momentum.
Sorry, I dropped something, but I agree.
You good?
I'm out here dropping things already. I'm out here fumbling. It's a bad day for me. But so we brought up DeMarvin Overshown off screen, and I was a fan of his coming out. I want to say this was his teammate a year and a half ago. People like him. I think Texas has been a very funky team these past year and a half. So the defense hasn't been the greatest, but I think you would still get a home run guy, and this guy's Anthony Hale Jr.
Mm-hmm. I actually got a first round grade on him.
Ooh, okay.
I like him in the first round, and it's because one of the things that I do is when I go through every week, I'm watching the college football games. I'm taking notes. I'll go back, as the season goes on, and look at a specific team for a day or whatever. But I condense all these notes into the report, right? And then if I've got gaps, okay, go back, let's watch them, let's fill in the gaps. This is a guy I didn't have gaps. He stands out when you're watching him on Saturdays. Like, he's just a phenomenal football player. But when you start going through all the notes and you start taking away, in this scouting report specifically, the bullet points are, he's got good speed for the position, very good body control, very good agility, excellent upper body strength, high level play strength. So, he plays bigger than he actually is. And he's not a small guy by any stretch of the means. We're talking about a guy that he's probably almost 6'3", 238. And he plays bigger than that. You think he's longer watching him. Good wrap-up tackler, very strong, stout player, plays downhill well into run gaps, solid pursuit ability to the boundary, very good play recognition. And then you kind of start to get into the other stuff. Okay, again, we're getting into that capable zone player again. Because, again, very difficult for these guys to play zone coverage, man coverage against these tight ends. The one thing that it's like there's one bad note, and it's he can be over aggressive in pursuit. That's me being nitpicky, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll, get there before the ball gets there and he'll miss the tackle. If that's the biggest problem that I've got, he's a great player, so.
And if that's the only thing, he wants to get to the ball too fast. Well, that's a bad thing, I guess.
Yeah, that's fixable. We can work with that. So I like him a lot. I've liked him a lot last year when he was an underclassman. He is a phenomenal player. I'm not sure about a comp. That's a little bit harder.
Right.
Yeah, because his size profile is also different as well. There's not a lot of guys playing at his size with his ability. No. I'm not going to reuse the Roquan, but it's in that category. It's in that territory, where he's got the same type of skill set. But he's going to be a good player somewhere.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I said hasn't been great. It's really not his fault. Texas has been an up and down team. It's him and Michael Taft are like the shining stars of that Texas defense right now.
And Colin Simmons, but we can't talk about him for the draft yet. He's not even eligible. But he's going to be a very special player when he comes out too. Yeah. But yeah, this guy, he's good enough to go first round. If he does or not, I don't know. But me as an evaluator, I would be comfortable taking him first round.
Right. If he falls to the second, we're all not going to go, why did he fall? It's be like, no, because the first round was so stacked. Some guys are going to naturally fall down boards.
Yeah, because when you get in that 20 to 50 range, it's anybody's guess at that point.
Right. And especially when you get to 25 to 32, it's like, do you reach on a really early second? Or you're like, I'm already here. I'm just going to grab him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's where you get into, because that's the hardest part about mock drafts, right?
Yeah.
I don't do mock drafts a lot. I hate mock drafts. It's, I feel it's almost like feeding. It's almost like when you publish a mock draft every week, it's like giving the junkie meth, right?
Yeah.
Like people are addicted to these things. They flip out about them. I'm just not about that, man. I want to evaluate the guy. I'll do 3 mock drafts a year. You won't see me do one before the combine, because that's it. I'll do one at the combine. I'll do one, once we kind of get through the pro days, and then I'll do one right before the draft. That's it. That's all you're going to see.
Sure.
And that's just to measure, hey, how did the process go for this guy?
Right.
When you get into 20 to 32, like, dude, it's team preference at that point. Exactly. So your best bet is to guess what the team likes, who the team likes. That takes an extraordinary amount of information that I try to track that information as best as I can, but it's a lot. So good luck. I don't do a good job with it. I have it. It's just that I see something happen. I'm like, oh, that was stupid. They were 3 Clemson games last year. Of course they were going to take the Clemson guy. I didn't think about that, But again, it's just because you have so many different possibilities and there's a lot of different opinions, and you don't know how those interviews are going at the combine unless it's Shedeur Sanders. And that's the name of the game. It's your best guess. So that's what the back end of the first round is if somebody has that scout that's in the room that's like, this guy's a first rounder, he starts pounding the table. That's where these type of guys go. Yeah,
that was kind of us with Carnley Jr. I was like, oh, go get Mike Green. And they said JCJ. I was like, no. 5 minutes later, I was like, all right, let me hold off. Actually, a great pick. He's slowly developing. So,
yeah.
Again, I ate crow. So, all right, I'm back on track. But no, back at the first, I'm gonna start talking about kind of back at the second towards the third. I'm obviously skipping a few guys. I'm skipping guys like Dante Lawson, Torg York, Whit Weeks, guys like that. Just because I haven't done. All right, I need your strength because I love a good mock draft. I don't like critique it. I'm just like, oh, all right, I get it. It also helps me get more names because I work on Saturdays. So I'm like, oh, I need to start learning new names, new faces, new teams. All right, I'll do a mock draft, see what's around. And I started looking into guys. Unfortunately, I looked into this guy a little bit. Coming out of Cincinnati, another good, really good run stuffing. It's Jay Golday.
Yeah. He's one of those guys that pops out every time you put on the tape. Quite literally, like every time I've watched Cincinnati, there's a good little paragraph on number 11. This guy's fun. And when you go back to that Nebraska game, week 1, that was a big game for them. You're playing in the Chiefs Stadium. It's a neutral site game. It was not a neutral site game at all. That crowd was 99% Nebraska.
Yeah.
And he had a really great performance. There's a lot of hype going in that game with Nebraska's offense. Obviously, we've seen what Emmett Johnson's become. That's probably a guy we didn't even mention as a Heisman guy, but he could probably have a chance at it. He's been phenomenal.
He should have a chance.
If they were better in 7 and 5, we'd be talking about him more.
Yeah.
But yes, Golday, he is a very intense player. I think that's the first thing that really pops at you. He plays with a lot of intensity, very passionate player. One thing I didn't like too much about him is a lot of times when he's in space, he'll shoot low instead of try to wrap up. That's one of those kind of bad habits that you start to see when you get into the day 2, especially when you get into day 3 guys. But he's got good pass rushing ability. He's probably another one of these bare linebackers that you could put into that role. He's not going to be proficient rushing the passer. He's got a couple moves, but enough to change things up, open up some one-on-one opportunities on the other side of the line, maybe free a defensive tackle to shoot a gap. And he's going to be a special teams player too, right away. I mean, if you don't get him on the field as a defender, he's going to be on kick and punt return coverage because he's got the athletic ability to do it, and he's solid enough in space with the intensity that he brings. He's going to be a special teams player all day.
Yeah, and people take that as a bad thing. You have to start somewhere. 9 times out of 10, if you're taking even some really late day 1 guys, all right, you'll see him sprinkled in, but you also see him on special teams to get the snaps, to get the recognition, to get the motor going. Again, it's not a bad guy to do it. I think we had McGee last year starting on special teams, and he's been sprinkled in with Wagner and Luvu. It's not a bad thing to do.
And especially when you kind of consider the new kickoff for all the hate that it's kind of taken.
Yep.
First off, it has made kickoff safer. We've had more kickoff returns that makes the game more exciting.
Yep.
And it helps develop these guys in these different positions, particularly in safeties and linebackers, because you're engaging that skill set that you're going to have to use to close in space, work off of blocks. It helps you develop. Yeah, fill gaps. Exactly. It helps you develop better to get on the field faster as a defender. So there's a lot of positives to take away from the kickoff. I understand it's not traditional. I understand people don't like the change, but it is going to do a lot of better things for the game. And I think that people will see that in 2-3 years from now.
Yeah. Hot take. It took me like 2 weeks I was 2 weeks in. I was like, all right, I like it already. Like I just went along with it. I'm like, I actually don't hate it.
I saw it in the XFL, so like
right.
When I was watching the XFL, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this kind of works. They're going to take a look at this.
Yeah. And we have what, probably a punt or kick return touchdown every week now, it seems like.
Yep.
Like there was just one punt return.
Multiple because of punt returns and kick returns being combined now, so.
Yeah. Like we're recording as Monday Night Football happens. There's been a punt return 15 minutes ago.
Fantastic.
It's a great day. But from one good player to, we said off screen, to a potential Heisman voting favorite. He's had my vote for a few weeks. Someone who's, I think, going to rise on boards, but I don't know if he's essentially going to jump up big boards. Texas Tech's Jacob Rodriquez.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm infatuated with him, but I've taken it almost every mock draft I've done. It's bad.
No, this guy is so fun. This guy really relies on his instincts more than anything, and when you get up into that next level, instincts, it's uncoachable. It's something that you either have or that you don't. And when you got a guy that thrives on instincts, that's going to catch a lot of attention. The other thing is he's really passionate.
He is.
That he's going to go down to the Senior Bowl in Mobile most likely. Can't confirm it obviously because I'm not in the Senior Bowl, but I've got a pretty good idea he's going to be there. He's going to kill the interview process there.
Yeah,
people are going to come away going, this guy is a legit football player, and that's half the battle when you get into the offseason. It's not about going out on the Senior Bowl field and making 10 tackles. It's not about going out there on the combine turf and running a 4.5 40. It's about how do you master the interviews? How do you sell yourself as a person and really show that you're genuine and that you understand the game, right? Great point there. It's your mentality. His mentality is special. A few years ago, the Lions took Malcolm Rodriguez. No relation. But that was what they loved about him, was he was undersized, but he was passionate. He had a good mind for the game, and he had great instincts. This guy's not undersized. He's probably not going to test very well in terms of like the underwear at Olympics. But the instincts, right?
Yeah.
The instincts is what's going to sell him, and the passion that he has for the game. Somebody's going to take a shot at him. It might be in day 2. But he's going to be one of those guys. He's going to be a fan favorite. Already is in Texas Tech. His wife, they've pointed out several times in the different broadcasts, she's in the U.S. Army.
Yep.
Helicopter pilot. I mean, the insanely successful duo. They're going to be special. He's going to be special no matter where he goes. Special teams player, absolute galore, and he'll get himself on the field at some point, and he'll be a good player.
Yeah, he has 3 rushing touchdowns when they just bring him in
like
because.
Yeah, because we can. We're Texas Tech. We can do it, right? We brought all these guys in. We had the best transfer portal class. Now we're competing for the playoff. We can do it. Let's do it. And he's passionate about it. And that's what sells, man. Is Travis Hunter last year took a lot of criticism from the media because he's involved with Deion Sanders, because he's a little bit of a showboat sometimes on the field. That guy was as humble as he can get, and he just loves football. You know what I mean? He loves football. That's why he went as high as he did. Yeah, he can play both ways. Yeah, you can play him, and he can do a lot of different things, but he loves football.
For as thin as he is, he's an athletic freak.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson's another example of a guy who loves football, right?
Yeah.
And these are guys that are small, undersized dudes that went way above people that fit the prototype much better than they did. This guy has the prototype size. He's not going to have the prototype athletic ability, but he's going to make up for that with his instincts.
Yeah. And I'm looking at the stats. Like it says, he has, 17 missed tackles or whatnot. Every linebacker misses a few. I think we have 17 just on Bobby Wagner alone on our team. So this is already an upgrade, and I would take him just, like I said, between the instincts and his gray mustache alone. I'd take him. It's a great mustache.
Got to mention the mustache. Got to mention
Got it. I mean, I'm almost not trying to not be biased. It is a good mustache for being a lone stash. I'm just gonna say.
Hey, if you're in Texas, you're a Red Raider. You kind of have to be able to pull that off.
Right.
Mahomes got away with it. He had the arm, but
he had the arm that turned into almost like the reincarnation of like A-Rod and Brady. So he got away with a few things.
Quick draw. That's the thing. You can be if you're the Waco kid, if you're faster than everybody, you get away with it.
You got away with a lot, let's be honest, but that's neither here nor there. Not here nor there. I've talked a lot about my guys. You had mentioned of a guy who wasn't even in my radar, on my stratosphere. And I've slowly gotten to know, just because I've also been grinding on my internship while on Thanksgiving break, so I should have done more analysis. But you brought up Penn State's Dominic DeLuca.
Yeah.
I need to learn more.
This guy's a little bit more of an undersized player. And bear with me, I'm getting to my notes here. And I was writing up Penn State, and I really liked what I saw from him. So NFS mentioned it earlier, got him at 6'1", 232. It's funny we're talking about 6'1" kind of being undersized, but when you think about tight ends being 6'5", that's why this comes up.
Man, I'm 6'1".
He's not very long either, you know.
No.
Oh my god. It's like my little siblings are all on that now. 30-inch arms. He came in at 30 and 2/8 arms in the spring.
Yep.
That's something that's going to kind of hurt him a little bit. And that's what I'm talking about with length. He doesn't have length. But, you know, Frankie Louvu is kind of this type of player. And that's why I kind of mentioned him when we were talking about linebackers in the DMs before we jumped on, is because, you know, Louvu in Carolina made a name for himself because he shot gaps. He was athletic. And he had instincts, and he kind of made up for that lack of size with just the intensity that he played with. And that's DeLuca to a T. He's got pretty good play recognition. He's going to be capable in underneath zone coverage. I wouldn't really want him going downfield with anybody. But that's not the role that you're going to ask him to play. You're going to ask him to, hey, dude, see ball, get ball. That's your goal. Yeah. And that's kind of what Washington's done with Louvu, and that's why I wanted to bring him up. But he's going to be a decent athlete. He should test fairly above average. And he's a good enough wrap-up tackler that, you know, with the intensity that he brings, he's going to be a problem.
I got to watch more Penn State football now just to watch for number 0. I'm not going to ask you the question because that's unfair to you. I don't know where he would probably fall. I'm going to guess a day 3 kind of guy.
I've got him in day 3. Yeah. I got him in day 3.
All right.
Probably late day 3.
Like 6, 7, like let me rephrase. 6th round, 7th round. Let me rephrase that.
There you go. No, probably in that range. You know, and when you kind of get into that back end of day 3, you'll find some guys, technically they don't do this, but everybody knows they do it. They say, hey, don't draft me. I'm going to go ahead and pick my team. He could fall into that category as well.
Okay.
And that's just because when you have a player like him who is specialized in the talent that he brings, because Louvu is a very specialized player. And so when I compare him to Louvu, I'm saying he's very specialized in the sense of he's a gap shooter. You really don't want him in coverage. You want him to be a run defender in the box. When you have a player like that, you want to go kind of pick the situation that you're going to. And so that's kind of where he could also end up. If he doesn't get drafted, it'll probably be a situation like that.
Fair. Now, I'm definitely going to start doing some research on him, because if you're saying a good late 3 guy, well, Washington needs a few of those. So
every team does. That's the thing.
That's true. Every team needs someone like him in the later rounds. So, yeah. No, I don't blame you. I'm gonna take out one of the guys just because I'm like, I've been talking a lot.
Well, so have I, so don't put that on you. You know, it's not just you.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone on the show, people are like, hey, so it would be like 15 minutes, 25 minutes later, we're like, okay, that's the end of the show. You know, that's just how it goes. If you schedule me, you have to understand we're gonna like get into it a lot, and we're gonna go way over time. Sorry, it's just how it goes.
I try to be good, and then we get into like really good football conversation. I'm like, damn it, every time. But then I also don't regret it afterwards, because I'm like, no, I learned, I grew, I also made a good connection. So like everyone's
that's what you're doing in this business, right? Like you're trying to learn. Like that's the thing. And you know, like when I started going to football games, you don't go to football games because, you know, if you're a scout, that is, at least, right? If you're covering the team, it's different. But if you're a scout, you're going to football games because it's like, hey, yeah, I'm seeing these guys. Yeah, I'm getting a close-up look. I can always go watch this tape later. I'm meeting people. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. It's networking. And I'm trying to pick their brains and learn from them. You know, like, so the story I always like to go to is the very first game I worked was 2019 Music City Bowl. Louisville played Mississippi State. And I'm like one of the first media people in the stadium. Like, I'm there 4.5 hours early. I like went got lunch in Nashville, downtown Nashville, before I got to the stadium. Got there that early. Like, I'm hyped. I'm ready to do this. I'm on the field 3 hours before kickoff. The teams aren't even there yet. And I'm walking around. I must have been a wide-eyed, son of a gun, because this is the first time I'm on this level of a field in the NFL, right? A field level. And Titan Stadium, at the time, I think they had just rebranded to Nissan. It'd been LP Field forever. And so I'm down there, and this guy walks up to me. He's got a Steelers jacket on, and just recognized that I'm totally lost here, and I have no idea what I'm doing. And he's like, "Hey, come on, hang out with me." Turned out to be Mark Gorsak, who is famous for running the 40-yard dash at the combine. And that's what we did. We just walked around and we networked, and we talked to Mississippi State coaches. We talked to other scouts that were there. We talked to, the Louisville coaches when they got to the field. It was great. And I learned so much. I also learned how much I didn't know at the time, which was talking to Mississippi State defensive line coach. Because when they start talking their jargon again, you're like, if you don't know it, if you don't already know it, it is mind blowing. It's about 10% of that conversation that I was able to retain, because they're sitting there going, "Yeah, man, when I had Jeffrey Simmons here, man, it was awesome. He was like he's the best one tech player I ever had. He could swim low." And they're going into all these different terms and stuff that I was like, "What the hell is a one tech, dude?" Like I'm stuck back here. Like, you're already like in a whole paragraph part of the conversation. I'm sitting there like, I'm not going to be the idiot here that's going to ask like, "What's a one tech?"
I know just enough to know what a 3 tech is. What's a 1 tech?
Yeah, exactly. And you start hearing head up, and you saw heavy hands and all that. And it takes you a little bit when you get into it, and you're like, "Oh, okay, that's what they're talking about." Bear Bryant's tech. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
Now I throw these terms around, and when I go on shows, it's like, dude, maybe I have to explain that a little bit, like what I'm talking about, because somebody might not pick up on that. I don't want to be that,
right.
The Mississippi State coach over there talking a total different language.
No, but it's always good, like you said, like networking, learning. Like, as much as people love to call me because I do all the drafts of John Carpenter Jr. I'm like, yes, and I'm also learning every time I boob a mock draft, because I'm like, oh no, this ranking's gone higher, this ranking's gone lower. I'm looking at NFL Draft Buzz. I'm looking at other scouts. I've been following you now for the past few weeks, watching your show, watching other shows. I'm like, all right, I've a million miles to learn. I'm barely scratching the surface of what even scouting looks. I could barely dream of going to mobile, going to the combine. I'm like, would I? Yes. Could I dream of it? Yes. Am I going to? Probably not.
No, like, football is, I think, what captivated me from a young age with it. I've been a football fanatic since I was like 7 years old. So like, when I got into it, my parents were like, "Oh yeah, he'll grow out of it." No, it didn't happen that way. The thing that I think has always fascinated me about it is there's, first off, the history. There's such a deep lore to it, and I'm a nerd. Like, if we were like hanging out at a bar or someplace, and I make a Lord of the Rings reference, like, it's you're 99% of them you're not going to get. I'm
right.
Deep. I'm a deep nerd at heart. So like, football, it's really easy to get nerdy about it because there's so many different angles to look at it from. There's so many different perspectives. There's so much knowledge in just each position. You can never stop learning.
No.
And I think that's what I love about the sport the most is there's never something you cannot learn about with football. There's never something you can't take away from to become better at what you're trying to accomplish or what you're trying to do. And that's life at the end of the day. Football is life, quite literally.
Yeah. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. You said, like, if you made a Lord of the Rings reference, I probably would have been like, well, I didn't watch it, so probably not. But like, if I made a pro wrestling reference, unless I know wrestling, it's gonna go.
Yeah, exactly. See? Yeah. I don't know anything about wrestling except that prank call that went viral. John Cena, like classic prank call, amazing.
Right.
But I know who John Cena is. I know you can't see me,
Yeah.
but I don't know anything about wrestling.
Right. Ironically, you said that about football. My parents, when I watch wrestling, they're like, "Oh, he'll grow out of it." You're about 12 years later, so ain't happening.
Didn't happen. Yeah,
didn't happen whatsoever. It's become a slightly a problem, but I ain't gonna worry about it.
Hey, there gets the pay-per-views are kind of going away now, so it's not as big of a problem anymore.
No, it's not a problem at all. When you have a VPN and Netflix, it's great. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in the UK. Netflix. It's great. It's a great day. But when I gotta pay $30 a month for ESPN Plus, it's a great day.
Yeah, it is.
I'm already paying for PFF, but it is what it is. I gotta send my money somehow.
Hey, PFF, I don't use their grades at all, but
no,
they've got some good stats on there that are very, very helpful. I like the missed tackle stuff. Okay, maybe if it's a really high number, I might pay attention.
Yeah.
But there's like the target shares and the snap counts that they've got are really accurate. Some of the protection stats are good. Stuff like that. Drops are really important when you're looking at offensive players. So they've got some really good stuff like that. But you talk to anybody in the NFL, you mentioned PFF. If PFF grade comes out of your mouth,
right?
Like, shut up, dude. Like, don't even talk anymore.
it is a window dressing at the highest level.
Mm-hmm. No, and hey, I get it. They got their product. They want to sell it. That's their product. That's their go-to. And maybe some people find value out of it, but not me. The league doesn't. Most college teams don't. Yeah. It's a talking point.
Yeah, exactly. It's for people like me who can't afford the college all 22 to do something.
Hey, what makes you think I can afford it, dude? I got my hookups in other places.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
I was talking with. I'll say this, and then we'll get out of here because I had Bro Schmo on the other week talking Miami, Washington. He was like, "Yeah, me and like 10 other people share it." I was like, "If you and 10 people share it, how much does it cost?"
It's astronomical.
It's insane.
It is absolutely astronomical. But again, that's the product they've created. Yeah. At the end of the day, like if you can create a product and people buy it, that's what allows us to have this show right now, man. Washington in the NFL is the number one sport in America right now. Hands down. Football is the most dominant sport in America. And that's what allows us to build the followings that we have and to talk about it and to make some money on the side. Hey, like I'm all for it. It's capitalism, baby.
At its finest. At the heart of it all, the finest capitalism you've ever seen in your life. 132 college teams, 32 NFL teams, plus your D2s, your D3s, your JUCOs.
Yeah, don't forget about the FCS now, man. Don't leave them out. Yep, don't leave them out.
No, and then Notre Dame. Yeah, and then there's Notre Dame. I can go on a whole rant about why they should be in the conference and why the conference should be realigned, but this is not that show. The state of college football right now. I might rant about this Wednesday on the Burgundy Breakdown. I might just save that rant for the other states. But no, appreciate you coming on, staying late for an hour with me, talking a few linebackers. I could go through the whole class, but I definitely don't have the time for that. Neither do you, because we are hardworking people.
Yeah, we got a Monday Night Football game to catch, I
was about to say, we got priorities here.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. It was a good talk. And that's what at the end of the day, I think I said this on my last show. The goal for me, at least, is to be able to trade information, man. And if we can do that and we come away and have a productive conversation, so it was absolutely well worth the time every time.
Yeah, I agree. Again, appreciate you coming on. Guys, hit that subscribe button here on BIB. Like I said, road to 1,000. You can go follow John at the Sick Podcast Draft Digest. and all of his Twitter. And if I can find him on any social links down in the description, it's going to be on the title. His logo's going to be on the thumbnail, the whole nine. So again, appreciate you coming on. Hit that subscribe button. Again, we're currently recording this during Monday Night Football, and I'll have this out sometime on Tuesday for you all. So to get your draft content. I'm looking forward to Wednesday's conversation with myself, Reedy, Z, and Juan on the Burgundy Breakdown, because they're going to give me crap about saying, man, John, what happened to Lane Kiffin? I'll explain more on that on Wednesday. But y'all stay good out there. Raise hell during the season. Don't forget to stay ballin'. We will see y'all out there.